You want to just do red leather, yellow leather real quick?
Red leather face, yellow leather face.
Red leather face, yellow leather face, red leather face, yellow leather face.
Red leather face, yellow leather. Red leather face, yellow leather.
You know, they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste. But what would happen if one man filled another's with the scariest films of all time?
Who are you talking to?
Nothing. Ready to watch some movies?
Aw, yeah.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Matt Makes Zac Watch Horror Movies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Zac.
And I made him watch a horror movie. What did we watch this week, Zac?
Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's important. Makes it sound official.
1972?
74.
74.
Yes, 74.
Original.
Yeah, not the remake. So
No.
or the other ones, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they went all fast and furious and just dropped the. Or no, there's one that's just called Texas Chainsaw, I think.
I thought you were about to say they went all Fast and Furious and just like it was an action movie. That truck driver.
Leatherface just spends the whole movie talking about family. Oh my God. Zac, is this movie a prequel to The Fast and the Furious?
I hope so. That sounds amazing now.
All right, Zac. So what was your familiarity with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise?
I knew Leatherface existed because he's in all the big
Posters,
iconic
and shirts and stuff.
Horror villains and video games and whatnot. I knew the 8 people. I know he does ballerina dance with a chainsaw in the sunlight.
So good.
But that's it. I didn't know who the characters are.
So it get pretty cold like some of these other movies we've done so
yeah,
far.
literally all I knew was Leatherface exists.
Yeah. Oh, you know, we should say also our theme this go around is slashers.
Yeah.
What is your familiarity with slashers, or is it just Halloween at this point? Well, and now Texas.
Well, we've now seen 2. Halloween was my first ever slasher.
Okay, there you go.
And literally all I know about slashers is like the iconic killers. Like that's all I know. Nothing else.
Okay.
Like I don't know the tropes. I don't know.
See, slashers are like my favorite subgenre of horror.
Uh-huh.
And here's my first hot take.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Matt's hot
I'm going to
take.
make so many people mad.
Matt's hot takes.
I know because I've said
takes.
it before and people were like, that's dumb. I don't think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a slasher movie.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I could agree with that.
It's a proto slasher, but it's much more like a cross between like an exploitation movie and like an art house 70s movie.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I only have one movie to base this off of, so I can't really give a hot take on it. But yeah, I think compared to like Halloween, it felt like
that is the template that like everyone has ripped off. No one's really like fully ripped off the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or like Halloween kind of comes close, I guess, but even then it's so different.
I mean, who would want to rip off the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
All right,
really?
So we're getting right into it. Zac, did you like this movie?
I did actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just like,
it's so bleak.
Well, it's such a weirdly made film that it's like, I don't think duplicating it would like do you any favors.
Yeah.
Because
it's like lightning in a bottle. Like you would try to duplicate it and would just be like, oh, this is hot trash. You can only do it that one time with those specific people.
And that's how you ended up with 50 bad sequels.
Right. Yeah. Like every other slasher franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It affects slashers, I think, more than any other horror subgenre. It's got some real bad sequels and prequels now and reboots and spin-offs. It's got timelines like a Halloween franchise.
Because I feel like other horror films, you can make sequels that are like Alien. You can just keep putting the alien and stuff and it's different.
Right. Everybody just comes across an alien. It's fine.
Yeah, but like with these like slashers where there's a killer, you have to work his way into a bunch of films and repeating the same scenario.
Well, and so often this one doesn't fall prey to it, so at least it makes sense in Texas 2. But like so often they die.
Yeah, they all die.
Either like they're implied dead, or like they show them like, no, they stabbed through the heart, went to a morgue, and that was the end of the movie. Like literally. And then you have to find a way back in the next one. And sometimes it's like genius and fun, and then other times they just don't even address it, and it's really weird.
I can't wait to start watching sequels.
I'm really excited. I'm actually really excited to make you watch the sequel to this movie. Because, all right, confession time, guys. The Texas Chainsaw franchise is like my biggest blind spot. This is the first time I've seen this one.
I completely forgot about that until this very second.
I have seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, though.
What you've seen?
It was on TV. It's really good because Tobe Hooper just said, like, he waited 10 years to make a sequel and was just like, I have no interest in making a sequel. I'm going to change genres, and made a horror comedy.
What?
And it's awesome.
Okay. I think that's why I enjoy this movie, because I was laughing throughout it.
Yeah, I think, again, like people think these movies can't be like a good time because they're so dark, but there's a lot of good dark humor in this.
Yeah.
Until like the last like 15 minutes where it is just unrelenting upsettingness in a movie. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Because I like Michael Myers the whole time. I was like, oh, he's spooky. That's cool. And Leatherface, I was like, oh man, poor little guy.
All right, should we hop into the plot of the movie?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
We're gonna try our best to like sum up a movie as chronologically and without going off track as possible from now on.
Yes, we're gonna give that a shot. We'll see how this goes.
So beginning of the movie.
So the movie opens with the famous text scroll, just Star Wars style, but before Star Wars. I didn't steal it from them. They stole it from me.
Leatherface, you bitch.
It opens up with John Larroquette reading the iconic opening, just saying like, these are the events that actually happened.
Did it actually happen?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I really wanted to ask.
Blair Witch style, they knew they could get people by saying like, oh, let's just tell them this actually happened, and just didn't get covered in the news.
Okay, yeah, because like when that came up, I was like, wait, did this actually happen? I want to ask Matt right now, but I have to wait until we start the podcast.
No, this one did not happen. It was inspired by a couple different things, though, including another person who goes up on the wall if we're not going to watch movies about him, Ed Gein, who was like one of the first American serial killers, quote unquote. And he... like when they reference like grave robbing and stuff, he did that in real life.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's not a good dude.
I mean, are any serial killers?
Right?
Like the real life ones, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're not a...
Dexter? No, he's not real.
He's not real. That's why we're not a true crime podcast.
Yes.
We like to have fun.
Yes.
But yeah. So I thought that was weird.
So then it just opens on the like weird, amazing like film school montage where they're just pulling back from that corpse.
Yeah.
While the radio plays talking about like grave robbings going on and no one knows why.
Yeah. So I was really worried going into this film because like with the whole cannibalism stuff, I already don't feel too great about eating animals. That's why I'm like trying my hardest to be vegetarian and like I only eat chicken and that's it. And I'm trying to cut that out.
Good for you, man.
You know, I love animals. I'm trying my best. So I was really worried about watching this film because eating people is a whole different level.
Way worse.
And I was worried there's going to be like references to like butcher houses and slaughterhouses, which there was, but they didn't show any, which I appreciated.
Yes.
That's why the intro was so jarring, because I was like, oh man, is it gonna be like this? No,
luckily.
Yeah, so I appreciated that,
because I can watch effects shots of like people getting chopped up, but not sweet cows.
Yeah, yeah, not sweet baby.
No. They're just so nice.
I watch videos of cats playing fetch.
I'm sorry, what?
They play fetch.
No one told me about this.
Have you seen a baby cow?
All right, we're going to take a break from the podcast, guys. We'll be right back. And we're back.
And that's why I don't eat beef.
Fair.
So anyways, and the iconic
the flash bulbs over the crime scene, as if to say, like, now we're flashing back to what happened here.
Oh, okay. Because I knew that was a thing, like the flashing. Like, that's an iconic thing.
It's in all the sequels, even when it shouldn't be. So from there, we're introduced to our van full of intrepid teens. The Scooby Gang of sorts.
They were a bunch of cartoon characters for sure.
You got to keep in mind, though, this is the first time that was like, oh, like, I actually think they do a pretty good job of, like, they kind of come across like a van full of real people. Like, they're both kind of dicks, but also kind of sympathetic. It reminds me of Laurie Strode and her friends in Halloween, where, like, yeah, they kind of, like, give Laurie shit, but then, like, you know, they want to talk to her and they're her friend. And in this, like, they give Franklin shit, but when he falls out of his wheelchair, they go help him. Like, they talk to him, they ask him what's going on, you know. And Franklin is a dick.
Here's my hot take. Don't compare them to Halloween, Matt.
Well, yeah.
That's like amazing. And this was Scooby and the gang.
It's the first time. Cut him a little slack.
Wait, first time what?
This is like the first time there was like a van full of teens driving through the South getting chopped
that's
up.
What you mean.
Like, yeah.
Okay. So it's like the uncharted territory.
Exactly.
Sorry. Okay.
And I mean, this movie, if Halloween had a low budget, this movie had like no budget.
Okay. I think I'm more laughing at the fact of 70s.
Oh, well, yeah, it's so 70s.
It's less of like, oh, this is factually bad. It's just like, they're goofy because they're the 70s.
Yeah. And you got knockoff Bob in the front seat, and he's like 45.
Jerry, man.
Everybody else, I'm like, yeah, I believe you if you told me, like, yeah, she's like 21. He's like 19. Sure. He's like 45. He's their teacher.
I mean, he didn't care about whatever's going on. He was just driving his way.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So they stop by the side of the road so Franklin, who's in a wheelchair, can use the bathroom. And then a truck goes by, and how did he fall down the hill by that?
I think he like kind of rolls out of the way of the truck and then winds up tipping out of the chair.
But he was on the side of the road.
I don't know, man.
Because that's one thing. Like after I was like, wait, did someone fall over and knock him down? Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
He just gets
was unclear on that as
like
well.
Flew out of his chair.
Someone is yelling at their phone. Let us know in the comments below.
How did Franklin fall? Is it A?
Were we both just not looking?
I mean, I was so distracted by just the pure cartoonishness of the 70s. But okay, next.
So then they have to help Franklin up, and they all get back in the van, and they're going, and we start to, I think, done really well for exposition. We start to find out why they're driving through there. The grave that got robbed is where their grandpa was buried. So Franklin and his sister have talked to their friends, and they're like, oh, we'll make it like a road trip. We want to go make sure like our family and like our land are okay and stuff.
Okay. A, I completely forgot that's what they're doing.
Yes.
B, I did not know they were related.
Yes.
When did they explain that?
I think at one point she says like, oh, leave him alone. Like he's my brother or something.
Oh, okay.
And they both keep talking about their grandpa.
Oh, I only heard Sally say grandpa. I didn't hear Franklin say grandpa.
Yeah, they both like keep talking about like, oh yeah, you know, we used to come stay here in the summer, and like this was my room.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So
man,
we're not getting ahead of ourselves. That comes later. So they go to the grave site and they talk to a couple good old boys.
The best boys.
They're so nice.
Well, I wrote it down. How did he say it? Go tell him your granddaddy buried over there.
I don't know why that tickled you so much.
Because it's like a dude with no teeth going, oh, your granddaddy bear over there, go down over there.
They were just being nice, Zac.
Hey, I'm finding amusement enjoying them. They're great. I'm not complaining.
All right. So they go and they actually find out their grandpa's grave was fine, which is always good to find out when you're afraid you've been grave robbed. So
Pop's
okay.
Well,
their Pop's okay.
Their Pop's are a theme in this movie, apparently. So Pop's okay. Where are they going now?
Well, now they're hopping back in that sick van.
The mystery machine.
Yeah. And it's the 70s, so what did they see? They see a hitchhiker. And again, like relatively good, sympathetic people. They're like, it's really like hot. Like he looks like he's gonna die. Let's take him in. So they pick up a hitchhiker because it's 1974 and no one knows better, apparently.
Yeah, you know, the guy with like a pelt pouch around his neck and like...
I mean, it is... Not to stereotype, but it is Texas in 1974.
True.
I feel like that would have been more common there and right then.
Yeah.
So you might have just been like, I don't know, he's a hitchhiker. Pick him up. I don't care if he has a pelt.
So they pick him up.
And then shit goes nuts. The hitchhiker, I think, MVP of this movie. Performance-wise.
I'll get into my MVP later.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Played by, I have his name right here, sorry. Edwin Neal.
Edwin Neal. He looks like an Edwin.
Right?
He really looks like an Edwin. That makes so much sense now.
But I think he's great in this movie.
He's pretty good.
He's just the right amount of like kind of funny but can flip on a dime and you're like, oh, that's right. He's terrifying.
He plays most people probably don't feel this way, but like Pennywise, how he could be so friendly yet so terrifying,
and
like
all of a sudden just detach and then turn into a monster.
And the entire time he's being like pleasant, you're like waiting for it. You're like, this guy can flip at any second. That's how I felt about our boy Edwin.
That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
Apparently he actually, it's the 70s, so everybody thinks they're a method actor. But he based this pretty specifically on his nephew, who had been recently diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Oh.
Although, to his credit, Edwin Neal, very quick to always say, like, my nephew was not dangerous. People with mental illnesses are not dangerous.
Okay, that's cool.
We should not vilify them. This was just a bad dude who I wanted to give very specific, like, vocal tics and things.
Yeah, because that's what I was also wondering after the movie. Like, Leatherface and his brother, like, seemed like they had some mental stuff going on. So I was like,
it's not great.
Yeah.
It is of an era.
Yeah.
It's actually still in a lot of horror movies, either implied or explicit. It's not always the best. I think this movie handles it relatively well in that they never say it.
Yeah.
And you also kind of just believe like they might not have any mental illnesses even. It's just that they, raised by a pack of wolves out in the middle of nowhere, you could just wind up weird. Like, I don't think they're expressly supposed to have any sort of mental illness. Yeah. But I think it's supposed to be they've been, quote unquote, driven mad.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I don't love it. Well, like I didn't come out of the movie like upset or anything.
Right.
It was just more one of those things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is an older movie, huh?
Again, like not even older movies, man. Like and movies I like.
Yeah.
But some of them are pretty explicit about like, no, this person has a mental illness and that's part of why they're dangerous. When it should be just it's tough though because you don't want to say a person with a mental illness can't play the bad guy, maybe because then you wind up letting them only play the victim. But it has to be this fine line you have to walk where with anything, because you see it all the time with like trans characters in movies, gay characters in movies, characters of color, and characters with mental illnesses. When you want to make them the killer, those things cannot be why they're the killer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's a real hard line to walk, but people do it.
Yeah, because like I think it's fine if they just happen to, but it's not the reason why they're doing
exactly.
it. Not being a spectator from outside of the horror world, I've noticed that's like a trend.
It is
in the horror world.
It's tough, but it is always nice to, well, not nice to remember this, but always good to keep in the back of your head the distinction between reality and fantasy.
Yeah.
Those people are more often than not actually the victims of violence and being taken advantage of. And it's good to know that that's the difference between these movies and real life.
Yeah.
Wow, this podcast just got real serious in a way that we normally don't. Normally there's a lot more like George Lucas voices. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, mental health is something that's important to both of us, and
it should be important to everybody.
Yeah. So
but yes,
I think it's important to touch on.
And I think this is what's great about the horror genre is you can use it to open up these conversations.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to avoid them, but I think they're good.
Yeah, definitely.
So the hitchhiker.
So our boy Edwin cuts his hand with Franklin's knife that he kept playing with.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
Well, the whole time I was like, so he's cutting his hand, but then he's just like,
but then he's just chilling. He's just like,
here you go, here's the knife back.
I also think this is something that they're doing kind of intentionally, because right before that he starts describing like, oh, I used to work in the slaughterhouse. No, that's how we used to do it. One hammer to the back of the head. And he shows them pictures. But right before that, before they picked up the hitchhiker, Franklin is talking about how their grandpa worked in the slaughterhouse, and he's describing how they used to do it. And he's getting kind of a kick out of how like he's kind of making everybody a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So then the hitchhiker comes in and says, no, I can actually make you uncomfortable. Like, let me show you what you're doing to other people in this car. Like, I think from like the metatextual, like I'm sure that was like the filmmaker's intent.
Here's a subtle dick and somebody showing him what he really is.
Right. Like, no, this is how they all see you.
Yeah.
You're not different than me.
From that, I was like, okay, that dude's got to be a part of Leatherface fam. And I was like low-key expecting Franklin to be, just because of how much he talked about his grandpa and like he was a little weird. So I was like expecting him to like.
I'm sure there's some fan theory somewhere that's like, did you know that Sally and Franklin were in on it? It was all an act so they wouldn't get arrested later. Because fan theories, I love them, but they're always nuts.
Because I know one of the sequels deals with like, oh, it's like Leatherface like granddaughter, like, or brother or sister, like something like that, like somewhere in one of the sequels.
Hitchhiker's his brother.
Huh?
The hitchhiker and the cook are his brothers.
I thought the cook was his dad.
No. We'll get to the cook.
We'll get to
that. We're staying on track for once.
So this is all happening while knockoff Bob Jerry is just driving his 45-year-old ass just down the freeway.
But when you think about it, no one is saying like, oh my gosh, he cut his hand open. They're all just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So he's probably like, I don't know, he has like a pelt. Maybe they just didn't see it and it's weird to them.
Well, they're also like, the girls were screaming a little bit. They were like freaking out a little bit. Like, it's enough to be like, what's going on? Let me look back. Do I need to pull over? Yeah. Not just, oh, crazy kids, I'm just going to keep driving.
Well, he is their dad, so.
I mean, it could be. Which is a little weird because he's like with one of them.
Yeah, sorry. He's their teacher. Sorry. Yeah.
Still weird.
Less weird.
Nonetheless, still weird. So then he, weirdly enough, the thing that got him to pull over was he lit the picture on fire that he took of Franklin.
Well, that's the first thing, because it's gunpowder. It like pops that he pours on the photo. So I think that the idea is like that's the first time he's like, what is going on? I keep trying to look, but I am driving. No one's telling me anything.
And then Scooby Gang kicked.
Yeah. Well, first, right before they kick him out, he assaults Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
He takes out his knife to show Franklin and then grabs him and slices his arm open.
Hey, look, this is what this does.
Yeah. But then he marks their van.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
because it is just this weird thing of like, why would you do? They keep bringing it up, like, why did he smear stuff on our van? Because they didn't buy the photo.
I knew that he was marking it to get them later,
right?
But I'm just now realizing right after this, they pull up into the gas station, and it was marked for him. I just realized that. Okay. Well, they pull up to the gas station.
He doesn't like to watch no thing die, so
yeah.
He actually kind of plays something that gets clarified in later slasher movies. They call it the Harbinger, which is the person that's like, you don't want to go into those woods. You know, he kind of plays that role, but he's also, spoilers, he's later one of the bad guys.
He's one of the Leatherface fam.
Yeah. He's the Sawyers, I guess they're called in the sequels. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and they're just like, oh, let's get some gas. There's no gas.
Gas and barbecue.
You want some barbecue?
Did you notice the name of the barbecue house? W.E. Slaughter's Barbecue.
We Slaughters?
We Slaughter.
Subtle.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't catch it.
I didn't see the sign. Yeah, but the second he was like, you guys want some barbecue? I knew. I was like,
no.
Yep, this is where that's going. He's in on it too.
He tells him like, oh, you don't want to drive up to that house. Just trust me. Just trust me.
Yeah, and that was their grandfather's house.
Yes. Right? The one that they drive over to their grandpa's house, expressly after being told not to, and kind of why, just like, you'll get lost. Just trust me. You don't want to do it.
Yeah. And then they roll up to the spooky, destroyed house
that they grew up in.
Even if I grew up in it, we're in the middle of nowhere. There's no one around. I'm not going in there.
I mean, they just kind of go in. They kind of look around. But it is a moment to point out, again, like, there's not much difference between them and the Sawyers. They just bail on Franklin. Like, they know full well he's in a wheelchair. They just leave him downstairs. That's why he's so pissed.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, like, can somebody help? They, like, don't even help him out of the van.
Yeah.
They're like, you can do it, dude. It's fine.
I was more focused on when Franklin started to freak out and, like, going.
And that's because that's exactly what the hitchhiker did in the van.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. That's great.
Well, I was just like, Franklin's being a goober right now. It's great. Because what else? Oh, yeah, he was going. Like mocking there. Like.
So how did you feel about Franklin's performance, Zach?
That was hilarious.
Did you think it was good or bad?
Neither. I just thought it was funny.
See, I think it's effective. I think you're supposed to kind of think Franklin's like an insufferable dick.
Oh yeah,
and
I definitely thought that. Yeah.
And apparently, again, it's the 70s, so everybody wants to be a method actor. People still do it. But like right then, that was like the peak of like, well, we have to be real, you know. He stayed in character on set. The actor
was insufferable.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like to the point he was like, I felt bad, but I knew like how hard this character was for me to get in. Because if you ask anybody from the movie, I guess they're all like, he's so nice. He's like the coolest dude. We didn't know that for the 2 months we were filming. Because he just stayed in character because it was just so hard for me to like be such a dick and then like stop.
Is he actually in a wheelchair?
He is not.
Okay.
He did not go that far with his method acting.
I didn't really judge any of the performance in a serious like, did they do a good job? It was more like, it's the 70s. Everybody's goofy. This is an older movie. It's fun.
It's so over the top.
Yeah. So they're in this creepy old house, and then the Scooby gang is like, oh, there's a water hole, Franklin. Point is where?
And they ditch Franklin again and make fun of him for being in a wheelchair. How do you even get down here? I don't know. Couldn't carry someone like that. What's wrong with you two? Like, but that's the point, because then you go like, oh yeah, but Franklin is a dick. He's not a dick because he's in a wheelchair.
I mean, the whole time I was just like, man, all of you are dicks.
Yeah.
All of you are going to die. I don't care.
Yeah. pretty much.
Jamie Lee Curtis is the only like survivor so far. Oh wait, no, Kurt Russell and Cillian Murphy. Okay, so not the only one, but
who was it you liked in Blair Witch?
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh. He was the
least insufferable.
What do you call it? The phrase, lesser of two evils.
Oh yeah.
That he was the lesser of those three evils.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, look, gasoline! There's a house over there. Let's go yell."
Well, he's
hey.
offering like, no, like we could buy it. Like we really need gas for the car. I didn't know this. I did some research. That was 74 was at the height of a gas shortage in America.
Oh,
so this movie is also commenting on that.
Huh.
That like, yeah, not letting us have gas and raising the prices so much that we can't afford it. You're making it dangerous for everyone.
Yeah, because you're gonna find some bad stuff.
Yeah, that's why that gas station with the barbecue is out of gas.
And the gas station with the barbecue is not a barbecue you want to eat.
Yeah, no. But they do.
Franklin was chomping on that barbecue for whatever reason. He just kept it in his mouth while he talked the whole time. And then they find a house, and
and one of them was like, "Well, I'll just go in. Like the door's unlocked. I'll just go inside."
Yeah,
never a good idea.
That's just a thing people do.
And then one of the best entrances in like any horror movie.
Yeah,
Leatherface just appears.
Well, because he goes inside the house and walks towards the wall of animal skulls.
Yeah, he's like, hello. Horror movie tropes out the end. Yeah, you know, setting them all up for the future.
And then, hi.
Yep.
Leatherface just smacks
him with the hammer and slams the door.
Who played Leatherface?
Mr. Gunnar Hanson.
Gunnar Hanson can do some incredible physical acting.
He is. I said The Hitchhiker is my MVP, but that's just because picking Leatherface sounds boring. But Gunnar Hanson's amazing in this movie.
Remember how I was saying I'll talk about my MVP later?
Yeah.
It was Leatherface.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, but that's like when people say, my favorite band is the Beatles. It's like, yeah, sure. No, he's amazing in this, though.
He, like, the way he just dropped that guy, picked him up, and slammed the door was so good. Like,
it's terrifying.
Yeah,
you're like, oh right, this is a horror movie, because it's been kind of a steady build. Like the closest thing to scary was The Hitchhiker, and that was more just weird.
Yeah,
this is like, oh no.
Here's the bag.
Yeah.
And it was just so like quick too.
Yeah, that
it was just like, oh, okay.
And then from here, like the movie just doesn't stop moving.
Yeah. That's what I really liked. There wasn't a let up after that.
They must have trimmed all the fat. They're like, I don't know, we have like 30 seconds of exposition at the top. We're fine.
Yeah. We got a title card. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Have John Larroquette come out at the beginning and
5 kids died or something. I don't know. And then the girl he's with, you know, Kirk, where you at? I'm just going to go inside this house too.
Right. Yeah. It's not suspicious he never came back out. Yeah. I should go in.
And then finds the longest. That's got to be like the longest shot in that movie, or the longest scene, and it was amazing.
I think the editing in this movie is phenomenal. I don't think the scene is supposed to be that long. It's just full of so many cuts.
Yeah,
to make you feel like you feel like you're in that room with her. It's almost like having a 360 shot. Because they just keep cutting to everything in this room for 30 seconds.
I think it would have been beneficial to cut that a little shorter, because to me, the amount I felt like we were looking through her eyes, and because it lasted so long and cut to so many different things, it just like made me feel like, oh, she's just sitting there and looking at every single tiny detail of like all this horrifying stuff. Run. Why are you like trying to
but again, she's only been on the ground for 10 seconds. But in movie time, it's 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like needs to relay the 10 seconds a little bit better.
Well, that's where, again, this isn't a slasher movie. There's no POV shots. We never go into Leatherface's point of view or anyone else's.
That's true.
You could have right there.
Yeah.
And that would establish like, oh, she just fell down. And that's where it would have become a slasher movie for me.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite comments from you while watching a movie, they keep cutting to this one chicken in a cage, which I thought was weird.
How much?
And then Matt just goes,
It sounds dumb. It would be so much less weird if there was like 5 chickens. You'd just be like, yeah, that's their room full of chickens. Like, it's weird, but just one chicken for some reason to me is way stranger. They just have one chicken in a cage. It's not like a chicken. Oh, they've turned this room into a chicken coop in this abandoned house that they live in. It's like, no, we just found this chicken outside and we put it in the bone room. That's way weirder than if you were just raising chickens in there, man.
That's why it's my favorite comment that you've had so far watching a movie, because it's like,
all right,
it's like random, but also, yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
It would be a lot more normal if there was just a bunch of chickens, which is weird that there's one chicken and that's what's weird about it.
Yeah. And then the armrest. The armchairs.
With literal arms for the
because they're grave robbers.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah. It's a good visual pun.
I was not before starting this whole thing, I was not expecting to be laughing so much through so many of these movies.
I didn't want to warn you. I wanted you to have fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah. So then Leatherface gets hurt too. And
then just
this might be the most one of the most upsetting bits in the movie, and he just picks her up, just right on a meat hook.
It didn't get me that much because there wasn't any real visual or like the audio sounds weren't like. But
it almost becomes worse because then that means they just have to focus on her trying to pull herself off the hook, which is just so upsetting because she can't get it.
Yeah. I guess for me, I was just like so distracted by like, oh, she has like a harness on. Like that just my brain was just so distracted by that.
Yeah.
That
well,
I didn't really
she
focus
does.
on it.
But
and then I was like, I like the way Leatherface moves. Like,
oh, his casualness of it. Like this is his job.
Yeah. Well, like when
I worked in the slaughterhouse, I work in this slaughterhouse now.
Yeah, and along with like the way he slammed the door, and then at that scene right after he hooks her and then picks up the chainsaw and like just moves his head like as he like revs it up. I was like, I like Leatherface.
Yeah, he's the best. Gunnar Hanson was great. Yeah. He rest in peace. He kills him in this movie.
Is he gone?
He is, unfortunately. I believe he passed away right after the director of the film, Tobe Hooper.
When?
About a year apart.
When?
I think Tobe Hooper was 2016 or 2017 and Gunnar Hanson was like 2018.
Dang.
Yeah, so pretty recent, but horror icons, 2 of them.
Yeah. R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that I was thinking about with this podcast. It's like, man, I really want to go to horror cons and meet all these people.
Yeah, we should, man.
Like John Carpenter. I want to meet that guy so bad. I want to meet that guy so bad. Hero.
He's the best.
Man. Gunnar
Hanson.
Gunnar Hanson. He's the man.
Okay, so Tobe Hooper, passed away in 2017, and Gunnar Hanson passed away in he passed away in 2015. I thought he passed away after Tobe Hooper.
Oh.
But
still
rest
sad.
In peace. Yes.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Apparently both very good dudes, which is always nice to find out.
That's why I've heard a lot about like the horror world. Like everybody behind the scenes is just really like cool people.
You have to be, otherwise nobody would want to do these movies because they're in a lot of ways they're very grueling shoots because they're so effects heavy.
Oh yeah, I mean most film shoots are.
Yeah, so you just have to learn to be pleasant or they don't want you back.
Yeah. A little tip that I've got: if you're creative and do freelance stuff, you got to follow the 2 out of 3 rule. Being on time, being good to work with, and having good work. As long as you got 2 of those, you'll get hired again. Have good work, be on time, but you're kind of a dick, you'll probably get hired. if you're a good dude, you're on time, but your work is like, probably get hired. But if you're bad at all three, sorry, not sorry.
Or no matter how good you are, if you're late all the time and you're mean,
no
one's gonna want to work with you.
Yeah. So I got facts.
Yes.
Tips.
So now, Leatherface has realized his home is being invaded by teenagers.
Okay. That scene directly after that where he just is like, oh man, and like sits in the chair.
Oh, I killed him, but it was my house. They came inside.
I was like, I literally said to you, wait, is Leatherface the good guy? Because like all these guys are just coming into his home and he's just scared.
Continuing our streak of upsettingly identifying with the slasher killers.
Wait, what was the other one we identified?
Oh, with Michael Myers, we're like, I bet Loomis did treat him terrible.
Oh yeah,
poor Mikey. Oh, Mikey and Leather, those good boys. Sure, they eat people and dogs, but they're good boys.
I kind of see now why people get so obsessed with them and like do art and everything. It's like, now I'm jealous you're the one eyeing all these guys out, and I'm doing the stupid idiots getting killed.
I'm really curious to see who you're gonna draw for this one, though.
God, I don't even know. Man.
We'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
I'll draw an armchair. I don't know.
There you go. That's perfect.
So we cut back to Franklin yelling at people again.
Yeah, he's like, well, why aren't they back? Well, I can't go. Like, so everybody kind of, classic horror movie, starts splitting up and leaves Sally and Franklin back at the van, and all kind of start getting picked off.
But happily, Jerry, low quality Bob, is the first one.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. His van wasn't even as good as Bob's. He doesn't deserve to be low quality Bob.
Stupid Jerry. Which he had the stupidest kill because he walks into this house just because he hears noises. He's looking for his friends and he hears noises. So he's like, oh, I'm going to walk into the stranger's home. And stops at the horror wall with skulls on it, puts his arms on his hips and looks at it like, huh.
But it's just animal skulls.
Yeah, but it's like,
it would be the tip off. Yeah, I would leave.
Why would you just sit there and look at it like an art museum? Like,
even if the person who came out was like totally nice and was like, oh yeah, those are my brothers or something, I don't know, I'd be like, oh cool, I'm never meeting your brother, bye.
Yeah. Or just like, maybe it dawns on you, I'm in a stranger's home.
Right.
The screen door was closed, but the other door is open, so obviously someone must be home.
Yeah. Can we talk about the skulls? Can we talk about how amazing the set design in this movie is?
Oh yeah, especially
it looks amazing, and they had to hand make it all.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Especially that too long of a scene where it was like cutting everything.
Right.
That was the first time where I was like, oh dang, someone had to lay all this stuff out.
So I'm trying to find the name, I have it written down somewhere, of the set designer.
Nice. The genius behind the armchair.
Yes. Well, I cannot find it, but they're amazing. So I had it in here somewhere, like highlighted. But the design of this movie is fantastic. It's terrifying even in sunlight, which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Ready to get upset?
Oh God.
You know, it was cheaper than a fake skeleton in the 70s.
A real one.
A real one.
Hell yeah.
You could just buy them from like medical labs and stuff.
Yeah.
Because back then you couldn't just do like quick 3D prints or like super good molds of a skeleton if you wanted it anatomically correct. You had to sculpt it.
Was it just the skeletons that were real?
Yes.
Okay.
And even then, not all of them.
Okay. Because I was like, those armchairs are real?
No.
Because that would be horrifying. Yeah, skeletons. Whatever.
So then Franklin and Sally decide to go look for their friends too and wander into the woods.
Wait, how did knockoff Bob die?
He goes to the freezer.
Oh yeah.
That's another amazing bit when she jumps out of the freezer because she's still half alive.
Oh yeah.
And then Leather just comes up and kills him off screen. It's kind of lame.
And then he's still like, man, what are these? Why are there so many people?
I love the way he's like just shoves her back in and closes it like, Oh, Mondays.
Oh my god.
Everything, his movements are so matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Gunnar Hanson's a genius.
Gunnar Hanson, man.
Yeah.
So good. Now I want like a mug that's like, I love Mondays.
And his name was Gunnar Hanson.
Yeah. But like a mug.
Yes.
I Heart Mondays with Leatherface on it.
That would be pretty great.
That'd be good.
Look for that merch soon.
Yeah. We'll make it if it's not out there.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Franklin and
Sally go looking for their friends, and Leatherface gets Franklin.
Oh, he pops up in the middle of the forest at night.
The only
real goes,
yeah, the only real jump scare and the only real blood you see in the whole movie when you really think about it. Like, and that was accomplished by they didn't have anything to shoot the blood at him with, so Tobe Hooper kneeled in front of Franklin and just went and shot it at him with his mouth so that it would spray right. He's like, look, we can't waste a whole day. It's hot. Like,
that's amazing. That's so
and it looks
good.
great. So you can always find a solution.
Movies are great.
Yeah,
movies are great. But yeah, that I think that was the only scene to make me go, what?
Yeah. It's the only real jump scare because everything else is just this unrelenting sense of foreboding.
Yeah. And then Sally starts running in the longest chase scene ever.
Yeah. But it's great though.
It is great.
So she's actually canonically the first final girl.
Yeah.
Even though, again, she's not like fully a final girl. Like some stuff is missing. Like she doesn't do the final girl circuit, you know?
Jerry had a better scream.
That's fair.
Jerry screamed like
but his wasn't as unhinged.
Yeah. But like when that made me laugh when he killed Jerry and he was like, ah! Freaking Jerry.
Jerry, you suck.
I mean, Sally
the acting is good, but Jerry, the character, sucks.
Yeah. Sally kind of did a circuit though, like throughout the house and stuff.
But I meant like the final girl circuit. Normally, like you find the bodies of your friends.
Oh.
You get confronted by the killer. Maybe there's a POV shot, and they don't catch you. And in this, they do.
Okay, so there's more to it.
Yeah.
Okay, because
you don't always have to have one, but it's nice if you do. This one comes really close.
Yeah.
That's why I say like this one's like it's almost a slasher, but I feel like when we watch more of them this month, you're gonna see like, oh yeah, that stuff is kind of missing.
Yeah, I can definitely. That's why like when you said it in the beginning, it was like, oh, it's a hot take. I was like, no, yeah, I could totally see that just from seeing Halloween. Yeah. Like this was, you can just tell, like it's not like a slasher,
right? It's real close though, and I think it's enough of an influence that it makes sense to include it. Obviously,
yeah, I think it wouldn't be included if Leatherface wasn't so iconic.
That's totally fair.
Because I think like that's a big thing about these slashers is like all these iconic like
the killers
slashers. Like,
they're the only ones who come back.
Yeah.
Well, think about most movies. Either you can't just keep putting the final girl through it over and over again, or everybody dies.
Yeah.
The only person who can come back is your killer.
Yeah. Or Loomis. Yelling.
Well, yeah. I shot him 6 times. I cannot wait to get to those sequels, man.
Halloween's my favorite.
There's one where Busta Rhymes does karate. It's my favorite.
You know, I'm pretty sure you already told me this, but I forgot.
It's great every time. Watching your face.
All right, let's just like wipe the slate of future movies and just watch all the Halloween sequels.
I'm not against it.
But Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, back to the focus that we were gonna have today.
Sally was running and she ran throughout the entire Sawyer house.
Yeah, and
from the top story, just melts the window.
She smashes it.
She ran through it.
No, it breaks.
It literally just fell apart.
Because it's like what did they used to do? Like they used to use melted sugar or whatever.
I understand why, but it's just so funny.
I'm gonna say it, one of the smartest people in a horror movie. No one ever just jumps through a window.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not gonna die.
I mean, that high of a fall, she probably could have.
To the movie's credit, she's hurt. Most movies, they would just shrug it off.
She kept her damage throughout the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah, and then Leatherface gets her. No.
She gets
to the barbecue place.
Yeah, which the sense of space and where everything is was a little lost on me because I was like, wait, she ran all the way back there? Where was that even?
Unclear.
Yeah.
But that kind of lends to the weird, like, surrealist nature of this movie. But so she gets back to the barbecue place and
he's like weirdly touchy with her, which I was like,
I think he's trying to play the role of like comforting old man. Like, no, I've got you. It's okay. Hey, just, I don't have a phone, but I can take you to the police station. You're going to be okay now. I don't know what you're yelling about, but it's fine. Gives her a hug and he's like, don't worry. He's just trying to calm her down. And then he comes back with rope.
Well, I got that he was trying to do that. I think it's like, again, like a 70s thing. How much he was like touching her face in her and how close his face was to hers. I was just like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Like, even if he was just a good guy, that's weird. Or
is it a horrible person doing a bad impression of a good person?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. But like, while I was watching it and like not sure if like... I think he's in on it, but what if he's just not? And that's just weird.
Yeah.
But also one of my favorite scenes is when he walks back in and she grabs a knife and he's just like, hey, calm down. Whap! Smacks the knife out of her hand with a broom and then just
like
starts
a boss.
hitting her with the
Beats
broom.
her unconscious.
With a broom.
The handle of the broom.
But still a broom.
Yeah.
It was just like... And the way he was doing it, he's like, ha, got you now.
Oh, he loves it.
I got a broom.
I think he's also great in this movie, Jim Sidow.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's the funniest character in the movie, hands down. Because he likes it, but he doesn't want to be there. Like, he keeps telling us, like, no. I want to eat you, but... Oh, gross, right? That's his whole character.
But hey, Grandpa, get him.
So then they get her back to the house and we find out that him, the hitchhiker, and Leatherface are all brothers and they're in on it. And their grandpa's in the house and they're gonna have her over for dinner.
Yeah, and they strap her down to an armchair, which is still the best. And this is when I kept like sympathizing with Leatherface more when he comes in and starts like beating Leatherface and Leatherface is running from him. I'm like, oh, Leatherface,
you kind of get the feeling that like they make him do this.
Yeah, that's
a real bummer.
Yeah, that's what I felt like they're probably making, and how he was like, no, I got him. Look, I got him. It was like a dog kind of.
Oh, poor good boy Leatherface.
Poor good boy Leatherface. You killed all those people. You did a good job. You don't deserve to get hit.
Again, upsetting that we identify with these characters.
I mean,
maybe not good.
I mean, I don't see myself
not identify,
in the character.
Sympathize. Sorry.
But yeah, and then they go get Grandpa, and then the weirdest scene in the whole movie happens.
It's one of the most iconic, like you see it pop up everywhere, where she starts screaming and crying and they just do it back. And it goes from like funny to scary to funny to sad. Because it goes on so long.
Oh yeah, it was a long time. But the weirdest part that I was talking about, because Grandpa just looks like a corpse. I thought he was an actual corpse.
Apparently he's supposed to be like 120 years old.
Weird. And then they just wheel him over and then like cut her finger and put it in Grandpa's mouth and they start sucking it.
Yep.
Like, because I was like, oh, it's just a corpse. They're doing the weird thing. And then when he like actually started, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Played by the youngest actor in the whole movie. He's 19.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Of course
And he's just covered in old age makeup.
That's why I was waiting for him to like jump out of the chair or something, because I thought he was just one of their brothers, like wearing
someone's skin.
Yeah, but no, Gramps.
Yep. They meant it. Family's important. Get him, Pop.
Well, then they're like, Pop-Pop's the best killer. He's gonna get you. Don't worry.
Oh, before this, I wanted to say, I think the editing of this movie is incredible and weird and awesome.
Definitely weird.
And it starts to drift into, I don't know how much you know about surrealism of the 30s and 40s, but
explain.
Salvador Dali only helped make one movie. It's called An Andalusian Dog, and it's kind of edited like that. It's the one where the opening scene is the most famous bit. It's where they're supposed to be cutting a person's eye open with a razor, and that's all I could think of every time they were zooming in on her eyes.
So then they're like, Pop-Pop's the best killer. And
he can't even hold the hammer anymore because he's so old.
He keeps dropping the hammer, and again, Leatherface is like, "Oh, I got that for you, Pop-Up," and keeps putting it back in his hand.
He's just a good boy.
He's just a good boy trying to help out.
He just I'm breaking down he's just a good boy character for a second. He genuinely is just a scared kid that they're all making do this stuff.
That's why I felt bad for him.
Yeah. And it almost makes him scarier because of that. Because, well, if he's just a kid, what happens if he throws a temper tantrum? You know?
Yeah. He's unpredictable.
Yeah. And Gunnar Hanson plays him that way, and he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we can't stop talking about it, but he's so good.
Yeah, Gunnar Hanson was the MVP.
Yeah. All right, I'm changing mine. Gunnar Hanson's my MVP too.
Yeah. Edwin's cool too, but Gunnar Hanson. Yeah. Man.
Sally breaks through another window when they can't get Grandpa to knock her out.
Yeah, and
now it's daytime. Like, that's how long she's been trapped in that house.
Yeah, that was wild to me when she hopped outside and it was day. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Then he just gets nailed by a truck.
Some clever foreshadowing. That truck knocked one of the good guys off the road. Yeah. So, of course, it's just going to kill the bad guy.
Which, that was like...
It's a great shot.
Just a dummy. It was just a dummy that's ran over.
It works, though.
Yeah, it works, but it's just like 70s. Low budget. It's fun.
It's better than most CGI dummies.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's just fun. It's fun. And then the trucker gets out and is like, what is going? And then a guy with a chainsaw. Which then they get in the semi. And then they get out the other side and he grabs a wrench. Why didn't they just drive away?
I feel like that's one of those things where he was probably supposed to cut through the door, but they probably found out like, oh, the chainsaw doesn't cut through this door or something.
Well,
so they probably were we'll just go with it. It's fine.
Maybe
it's like the last shot.
Maybe they couldn't damage the truck because it's like
I mean, he hits it and scratches it all up and dents it.
Because like I felt like he was holding back, like he wasn't trying to actually go.
You're probably right. It's probably they probably put like a thin layer of tin or something over the door for him to hit.
Yeah, because it was only on the door too. You could replace the door.
So that feels like they probably just wanted to do that and then couldn't, and then it was like they can still just get out of the truck. It's fine.
You can grab a wrench.
While you're watching it, you're not going, where'd they get out of the truck? You're just like, oh, is Leatherface going to get him? Like, it still works.
Well,
I mean, you know what I mean.
I thought, why did they get out of the truck?
I did too, but you know, like, it's still, sure, it works.
Yeah. And then he just throws the wrench at Leatherface and he cuts himself. And I was like, oh, no.
But then she managed to flag down another driver and she actually gets away.
Yeah. And
that other guy, I don't know what happens to him because he's just running.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. The truck driver, he just bolts.
Yeah.
Leatherface is alive.
And that dude was a pretty slow runner.
Yeah. And Leatherface just chainsaws into the morning.
That's probably...
That shot is so good.
That's probably... one of, if not my favorite, like ending shot of a film.
Yeah.
like him just like ballet dancing with the chainsaw like in the sunrise, like
just angry but beautiful.
Yeah,
he's a good boy.
Gunnar Hanson.
Yeah,
you're angry but beautiful.
So that's the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
which it just cuts to credits.
Yeah,
and I was like,
just blunt.
What?
Yeah, we're so accustomed now to like a fade out, or it would have cut back to her like sitting back in safety or something, like, and then like faded to black and the music starts.
There's no questions of like,
instead it's just like done.
Yeah, there's no questions of like, let's answer all the questions,
right,
show everything that happened. It's like, no, like what's gonna happen now?
Yeah.
Which I think that shot being so good made me okay with it just ending like that, because there's a lot of movies where I'm like, wait, why did it just, like, there should have been like one more shot,
right?
Like, that was stupid at the end there, but like that ending on such a good shot was like, okay,
it's just so good.
That's good. That's good. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's a good movie.
I liked it.
Yes,
I did. I wasn't expecting to, but I did.
Should we go into some of the behind the scenes stuff about this movie?
Yes.
So, this movie was a nightmare to make.
Not surprising.
Yeah, because it was pretty low budget. I think they made it for like $30,000. Oh, I'm sorry, it was $80,000. I looked at the number wrong. It made $30 million. So again, huge low budget, huge return.
But yeah, that's cool. It made a lot of money. What was the like reception of it?
Mixed, largely.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought. I think the best way to sum it up was Roger Ebert's review. His review of it was like, horror movies and exploitation films are made on the cheap as great ways for young directors who can't break into the mainstream just yet to establish their voice and their style and what they can do. And every now and then one of them rises to the top and is better than it has any right to be. This movie is that, but you also might not want to see it. Like it's just too upsetting, because that was large. Even the people who liked this said like it's tough to get through. Because it is an exploitation movie.
Yeah, I'm sure during the 70s too, like the bar for graphic.
Well, the crazy thing about this was there's almost no gore and violence in it because they were trying to get a PG.
Yeah, because
there was no PG-13 at the time, and they didn't want an R.
Yeah, because like Walking Dead is like a million times worse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's like everybody loves Walking Dead.
Yeah, so I think the tone of this is much more upsetting than Walking Dead, though.
Yeah.
But the making of this movie, the hitchhiker was a Vietnam vet who said Vietnam was easier.
Did Edwin said that?
Yes, Edwin said.
Boy, Edwin said
this
that?
was as difficult, if not more difficult, than my time in Vietnam.
What?
So let's get into it. So it's Texas, the desert of Texas, not the suburbs or anything, which is already hot. And it was a record-setting heat wave when they went out to film.
Cool.
In a house with no air conditioning or fans. And they had to spend all those days with hot set lights running.
And poor Gunnar Hanson under a leather face.
He apparently smelt so bad that he said like, I don't blame them, but no one would like sit next to him when they weren't filming. They were like, I'm so sorry, Gunnar. He's like, no, I get it. Because they also, for continuity and stuff, because of all the blood in the movie, at certain points they couldn't wash the costumes. So between that and his big latex, skin mask.
Yeah. That's rough.
Apparently the most upsetting was the dinner scene, which took the longest to film. Things started cooking under the lights, not just the people, like all of the meat. Because it was, they just put up blackout curtains or whatever, like in the movie, and then ran stage lights and things. And it's between that and the heat wave, it started cooking the actors and the food. So the food started to spoil. Everyone was overheated. So it would literally be like, okay, and cut. And people would just go outside, throw up, take a 5-minute break, come back in and keep filming.
Jeez, dude.
That scene you talked about where she cuts her finger.
Yeah.
That scene was being really difficult to shoot, and there was some sort of misunderstanding, and they gave Gunnar Hanson a real knife, and he just cut open her finger, and they were all so out of it that even she was like, oh no. So that shot, like when you first see like her finger bleed, is real.
Oh,
not like when she puts it in Grandpa's mouth or anything, because that would be too gross.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like that's like how out of it they all were.
Jeez.
But good things about this movie, something smart. Before any of the actors could see Gunnar Hanson in the movie, like their characters, Tobe Hooper wouldn't let him come to set until he was needed, so that they had not seen him, what he was going to do, or what he looked like. So like when he comes around the corner from that red room and the actor's like, that was real. Because Gunnar Hanson, who is 6'4", was wearing 2-inch lifts in his shoes, and he's covered in blood and wearing a leather face mask, and just comes out and goes and like swings a hammer at you. You're gonna react the way that guy did.
Yeah, I feel the most bad for that guy specifically, because that's like the most like, oh hey.
Yeah, and they did that for Bob too. That's why that scream is real. Because he just didn't know. They were like, yeah, Gunnar's gonna come on the set, don't worry about it. And then that showed up.
I'm sure that's a common thing in horror movies though.
Oh yeah, I mean they say like they did that for Pennywise in the movie, and I think nobody had really seen what the effects were going to look like in The Thing. Famously in Alien, nobody knew that something was going to burst out of someone's chest.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we watch that movie.
We definitely should. And then no one made any money off of this movie that worked on it, is where this story is going to take a weird turn.
Even after it made all that money?
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. It's going to get nuts now. I just learned about this today doing some research. The people who wound up owning the distribution rights to this movie were the mafia.
What?
So they couldn't find a distributor because already, I mean, this movie wound up like banned in England until like 10 years ago. Dang. Because it was so violent for the time and terrifying. They couldn't like find a distributor. They were just kind of like showing it themselves at movie theaters, trying to find somebody to purchase it. So somebody finally does buy it, but they have a bunch of mafia ties. So more than likely they were purchasing the movie to launder money.
Uh-huh.
And then when the movie actually starts making money and becomes like a hit, they doctor the books and everything and say the movie only made $1 million, so they don't have to pay you, because that was like in the contract. Like if we don't make a certain amount, we won't give you like a payout from the movie. And it wasn't until the rights to the first film lapsed and New Line Cinema acquired them that New Line was like, oh, this movie made like $30 million. Toby, do you want a cut of this? And to their credit, like gave them some money.
That's really good.
Yeah. But that's why also like none of the sequels are distributed by the same people. It's much like how the Evil Dead movies are all made by different studio companies. All the sequels to this are too.
Jeez.
So yeah, the mafia tried to buy this movie and succeeded.
Man, that is why.
Yeah, we wouldn't know about we wouldn't be watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre if the mafia hadn't paid for it.
Shout out to the mob. Thanks for the movie.
No.
Right. I mean, in the 70s, Scorsese was big.
The mafia is the bad guys.
So, I mean, so's Leatherface, but here we are.
He's a good boy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So everything about this movie is nuts.
I'm glad that they gave him what he deserved, though. That's really cool.
I don't know how much they wound up giving him, but I know like he got to, in the same way like the Marvel movies will like put certain comic book creators that they like into the movie in like a featured extra role so they get residuals. They made him like an executive producer on the remakes.
Oh, okay.
Which is smart, because then also you get to say like, but Tobe Hooper likes it. So
yeah, kind of like John Carpenter, but John Carpenter.
Except Tobe Hooper actually endorsed the remake.
John Carpenter will just be like, yeah, it's bad, but it makes me money.
Yeah. Just put my name on whatever the fuck you want. I'm retired.
Because he's the best.
Yeah, because he's a hero.
Yeah, he is. Did Gunnar Hanson continue to play Leatherface?
He only played him the one time, but he is... I found this out today during research. He is in one of the sequels as a different character.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, in like one of the... Well, in the sequel prequel thing they did like 3 years ago now. I think it was just called Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Oh, of course there's a 3D.
Yeah. Horror movies in 3D, I'm actually fine with it.
I've got some feelings about 3D just in general.
I just think like big over the top horror movies should be allowed to be in 3D. I don't have to watch them in it, and I don't. But but yeah, he's they do like a flashback to like the end of this movie, and he's a different character, like another member of the family that comes in, which is fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did he go on to play anything else iconic?
I don't think he ever quite reached the iconic status of Leatherface. But he kind of became the shepherd of the character, though. He also, I believe, has had some sort of role in like the remake from the early 2000s that was such a big hit. I did find out him and remake Leatherface did not get along.
Oh no!
Apparently, they, according to remake Leatherface, whose name escapes me right now, he was totally like nice to me on set. He was totally cool. He said like, "Oh, I'm sure you're gonna do a great job, man. Like I approve of this." And then like those movies came out, and in like every interview, he just talked shit. Like about how bad he was, how bad those movies were. Like as the original Leatherface, it's like offensive to him the way this guy played him.
Oh, Gunnar.
Yeah.
And
I was like, Gunnar, no.
Dang.
And you can even find a clip where like in the like prequel sequel he's like talking shit on the dude.
Jeez.
I was like, no, Gunnar.
Aw.
But I haven't seen the remake. Maybe the guy sucks. Like I guarantee you he's not as good as Gunnar Hanson.
Yeah.
But still seems a little harsh.
Yeah. I mean, we're rooting for you.
I know. But
Yeah.
that's one side of a story. So maybe if you actually ask Gunnar Hanson, he'd be like, "Oh, I was just joking. I thought we were cool," or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if anyone knows, like, please tell us.
Please confirm our love of Gunnar Hanson. please don't.
Everything else I've seen and heard about him, he sounds like a lovely dude. So
how he did such a good job at this, I was like, I wonder if he's like just secretly like all the iconic things, like oh, he's also like Jason and like this and that or whatever.
No, unfortunately. I know he did, I think, write and maybe direct. He got a bunch of like the other slasher killers together for a slasher movie, like mid to late 2000s.
That's cool.
I think he wrote and he might have directed it too. I want to track it down.
That's cool. Wait, so it's who's in it?
So like Kane Hodder, who like played Jason, some of like the more obscure like stuntmen performers who have played like the famous slashers, things like that.
All right, are they their characters, or like it's just completely?
Oh, it's completely unrelated to their.
So it's just like
he was just like, oh, this will be fun. Like, these guys I go to horror conventions with, like none of us get work. Like, we should just make a movie. And it's really cool to see that they did that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, we should track it down and watch it for Gunnar.
Absolutely. For Gunnar. All
right. We have one last segment here on the show. And I'm going to do this in a very special way to pay tribute to somebody. It will date the day that we are recording this, the week we are recording this podcast. You will now all know. But so we like to tie things to Tarantino here. So I'm going to do 6 Degrees. So Jim Sidow is in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he's the cook.
Okay, okay.
He is also in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. He's the only returning cast member.
Okay.
Not the only returning character, just only returning cast member. And in that, they have another brother named Chop Top, played by one of my favorite actors, Bill Moseley, who is, of course, in House of a Thousand Corpses with absolute fucking legend Sid Haig, who is in Jackie Brown. He's the judge. Quentin Tarantino apparently even wrote the role specifically for him because he loved him on all the 70s TV shows where he always played the heavy. So like literally like he does that, and then Rob Zombie sees Jackie Brown and says, man, Sid Haig is cool, and then puts him in House of a Thousand Corpses and he gets his career back.
That's cool.
And unfortunately, just this week we lost Sid Haig, who is of course in two of my favorite horror movies, House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, which I know aren't for everybody, and that's fine.
It completely lost on me.
A lot of people don't really like Rob Zombie's movies.
Okay.
But I think we should all come together as the horror community and just remember Sid Haig. He seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
Nice guy. So may he rest in peace.
Well, I'm sure we'll watch some of the movies he's in. And
we will, because I love him.
And I'll discover what makes him so great.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. So I think that just about does it for us. Zach, where can everybody find you on everything?
Man, I'm just sad. Sorry. Yeah, just man, a lot of good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a big like Gunnar Hanson.
I know. Sorry.
All of them.
I'm bumming you out.
No, it's just like, yeah, I'm glad we're appreciating what they put out into the world.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And even if you don't like it, be cool about it.
Yeah.
So where can we find you, Zach?
At Zac Shirk on Instagram, ZacShirk.com, Dribble, all those places that I'm always on.
All right.
Where can they find you, Matt?
You can find me on just about everything as I Draw Paintings, and you can find me on my Facebook artist page, Matt Merys.
With that,
thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you for watching, and go tell me Granddaddy Bear over there. Woo!